In the future, what do you expect of yourself? I want to be CEO. I want to be super fit. I want to be, I don't know, married. I want to be, I want to own. I want to own. What do you want to do? Start thinking of the qualities that that person would entail.
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of the E-Formula podcast. It's your host Mohammadi and I'm here with the beautiful Banna. Welcome to the podcast, Banna.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Very excited.
Banna is a real estate agent with Sotheby's, and she also runs the Miami Guide. It's a powerful institution with a lot of following, huge following. And she also does marketing.
I know, I'm a busy woman these days.
Multi-talented woman. So I'm really excited to have here in the house today. And we're going to really dive deep into, there is this concept and pretty much in society that man is the provider, man is the guy that is supposed to do whatever it takes to provide for his family. And the woman should just relax and enjoy life. If you're beautiful, you literally are entitled to getting a successful man to take care of you and everything. But I see Banna rocking the stage in every single spectrum that she gets involved in. I was blessed to meet to hang out with you, be at the event that you hosted a couple of weeks ago.
That was nice.
And it was ecstatic. So I'm excited. Let's dive deep into it. First, I know it has not always been like that. It was a moment where you sat down like, okay, I want to do something to pretty much set my life in order in the sense of professionally, pretty much.
Yeah.
How did everything got started?
I always knew that I needed to, there was just something in me that knew I had to, there was no one to fall back on. It's not like I had like family or I love them, but in the business world, they weren't in it. I didn't really have like a partner. I didn't have brothers, sisters, cousins, uncles. I didn't really have anyone to fall back on. So I had no choice but to make it, and I do still, for the record, I do believe that men should be the provider. That's one thing that I am pretty old-fashioned on. But if you have a woman or a partner besides you that can also make moves, someone you can rely on in times of need, I think it's just so wonderful to have both, And I think in this day and age, you can be a woman that takes care of a household, takes care of her man, and able to have a business or two on the side. I really think it's possible to do it all. Maybe not all at the same time, but I think in some kind of way, all at the same time, So I do, I just for the record, I'm not all about this. I don't need a man thing. No, actually, I think men are very much needed, and I think it's possible to have both. So that's what I seek to be. I want to be a self-sufficient, independent, loving, kind woman.
Wow, I like the fact that you brought that forth, because you see, like the women that have the wills in many instances would say words like "I don't need a man in my life" and all these type of things. I'm glad you clarified that.
I know, because I do feel like lately I've been hearing that, like, I don't need and I can do this on my own, and maybe you can, but do you want to?
That's a real question.
And I still think that partnership is important, especially in your later years. And not saying that you need a man to be happy, but I think to have a complete, well-rounded life, it takes a partner. It takes someone to do things for,
100%.
So I'm glad we got that out of the way. But where it hasn't always been like this. So my first job was when I was 14.
14, wow.
My little baby. I was a cashier at Publix.
Publix, shout out to Publix.
I loved it. Well, my father's stepfather, I called him my dad. Okay. He is a store manager at Publix.
Oh, nice.
And then it's like a Publix family, So then I was ready to work, and I had got a little car, and I was in high school, and I just always had it in me, And I just think when you have it in you, you have to kind of go for it. And I felt like I never wanted to waste what God gave me. I felt like it was something in me. So 14, I was a cashier. Then like a year later, I was a waitress.
Wow.
At Sushi Saki, the second ever, because I'm from Miami.
Yeah.
So it's the second ever location in Miami was Sushi Saki in Doral. So I was there. And then, little positions here and there after. I opened up Hoops. I don't know, those that have been here for a bit know what Hoops was. Hoops was a sports bar in the old in the new Sushi Sake in downtown Miami across the arena. I helped open that sports bar, and then I got into marketing. So it's funny how that works. Yeah. Right. And then I was a marketing intern. The internship was over. And then after that, I said, what's next here? And that's when I got into real estate.
Wow. How long ago was the real estate journey?
It's almost 10 years. Wow. No, it is 10 years.
10 years. Since 2002? No, 2012.
Yeah, 2012. Wow. 2012, 2013, I really went like full on into it.
Went all deep into it. Interesting. And now you have real estate and other stuff. Let's focus on real estate for a minute, right? For every successful realtor, there's thousands that didn't get to make it past the finish line. What do you think you had at that time that was able to contribute to the success that you had?
Time. I think real estate is all about not stopping, just keep going. And maybe that's easier said than done, but I think just not stopping. I only really started seeing results in my real estate career, like in the 6th year is when I really started to see movement going. And plus the first 6 years was such a grind, cold calling, going to networking events, like talking to investors, sending out email blasts. Oh my God, I remember how hard I worked. It was just such a nonstop grind. And then now, 10 years later, I see the results of all my efforts, my attorney now, who's like one of my best friends, he does like all my transactions. I met him in the very beginning of my real estate career.
Wow,
he referred me to an investor. That investor, after all these years, referred me to someone else. So it's really like a collection of like all my efforts the past 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's epic. So persistence and never giving up. I think that pretty much apply in pretty much any industry that you're gonna be in. Consistency is the name of the game. You have to stay on it as long as possible, and you would see the result eventually. So real estate, right now we are in Miami. Real estate in Miami is the one thing that people talk about the most, beside the fun part, right? Talk about, rents are high. There's two sides here, the Miami natives and the New Yorkers. And there's like two different battles. If somebody asks me, I moved from New York 2 years ago, and 2020, end of 2020, 2021-ish. It's like, I moved from New York. It's like, you're one of those guys. I was like, what does that supposed to mean? And do you have an idea of what that is supposed to mean?
That is so funny. Us Miamians, we love the city, and we are a very close community. And when I see a Miami, we just kind of get it, we just kind of understand each other. And so New York is a melting pot. We've never really been like that. Yes, we might have had South Americans that kind of, have come into the city many years ago, and now they kind of laid roots here. But we've never really had New Yorkers. They would just come, party, and leave.
Wow, just party.
It was a very play community. Now Miami is a true live, work, and play. Companies are fully relocating here. People are doing full relocations. It's like 1,000 people a day relocating to South Florida.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a real stat. So now we see all these newcomers. We're like, you're one of those, because kind of, Yeah. But that's all going to change. I think in the next 3, 5, 10 years, it's going to be a really big melting pot, and it's no longer going to be like that. So just stay strong.
So just be patient. There is this thing about, Miami natives. It's not that they don't welcome you, but they feel like you have made things harder for them. Some people's like, because a lot of you guys moved here. So one lady was telling me, because a lot of you guys moved here, rent is expensive, we have to move out of Miami.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, she's kind of right, but I'm like,
it is what it is. Honestly, there's a couple sides to this. So Miami real estate has been very cheap for a long time, in my opinion. You're able to, back in the day, maybe pre-COVID, even before that, you used to be able to rent on the beach a 2-bedroom for like $2,500, waterfront. Wow. So for so many years, things were so cheap. And I have been posting and promoting Miami for 10 years now on Instagram. I can go back and see posts from 8 years ago. And I used to say, don't sleep on Miami, invest in Miami, the lifestyle, And then finally, everyone is understanding what I'm talking about. And so those prices are gone, and I'm literally marketing it as the new Miami because that's it. People
Wow.
that visited here like 5 years ago, you don't know the city anymore.
You don't know
Things
the city.
completely have changed.
Literally.
Half of New York restaurants are down here. You know,
100%.
people are fully relocating here, so prices have gone up exponentially. In addition, non-Miamians' salaries are much higher. And so you guys came
Yep.
down here with $500,000 salaries to $250,000 salaries, and you're able to afford the $4,000 one bedrooms in Miami, and
Yep.
they're not used to that. So it's gonna be difficult for the next couple of years. It's gonna require like some couple jobs. It's gonna require like a maybe a double income household. It's gonna require a lot of things. And it is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, it's the hottest city ever. Like, what are we gonna do here?
Right.
Have cheap rents?
I also think that because a lot of people are moving down here, there's also a lot of opportunities that are coming along also. If you just mentioned a couple of big companies moved down to Miami, big hedge fund company have opened up their offices here, and that would entail a lot of workers. You know, if you live in Miami, you're gonna be, you know, you're in a job market, you're gonna get a job. So I think it's, you know, there is a lot of benefit as well, and it's booming. The city is more booming than ever. You go out down South Miami Street at 8 p.m. on Friday, it's like, wow.
Can't even get a reservation.
No reservation.
It's difficult.
Literally no reservation. We're gonna get into that when we
Yeah.
get to Miami Guide stuff. So right now, what do you think is the most challenging thing in the market as far as real estate is concerned? As far as challenging for realtors and for buyers?
I think the fact that there's still very much low inventory.
Low inventory.
I think that's one of the rising concerns. I think interest rates have risen to a level that kind of priced out a lot of buyers. You know, when we were in the 2, 4s, 5s even, the purchasing power was much higher for a lot of buyers. They used to be able to afford $1 million condo, and now that same buyer, because of high interest rates, can only purchase $700,000 or $750,000. And so I think that kind of put a lot of buyers out of their reach to purchase, you know, begin their home ownership process. So I think, and there's still low inventory. I mean, I look all day long, there's still not much available. A 2-2 under $800,000 there's not many out there. You know, if there is, it tends to be in the older buildings. And a lot of the new buyers want new everything.
Yeah.
And there's a premium when it comes to that. So
100%.
I think low inventory, the higher interest rates, which, by the way, high interest rates. I just closed a deal last week, 4.75% interest rate. Wow. I'm under contract now in Midtown through her financial institution that she works for, her employer. They have connections, and she's able to lock in a 4.75. So the whole interest rates don't let that be an obstacle, because if you make some calls and see exactly where you stand, because you might be able to actually afford it. So I've been telling buyers that don't just say no yet, you know, because rents are rising. Put that money towards home ownership, build some equity, you know, maybe that's a better route for you. You never know.
My next question was about, you know, what do you think about somebody renting, or like, there's a concept out there that people that are not in real estate just talks about, oh, it's better to buy, it's better to rent. Discussion. I wanted an answer from a real estate expert. What do you think is, you know, like, would be the best decision to make in this type of decision?
Yeah, I think it really depends on the person, because every person has their own story. For
100%.
example, I bought a house in October. I sold it in May.
Congrats.
It was a nice little like flip I did, yes.
okay.
And then in May, there was just no inventory, and rates were starting to go up a little. And so I'm like, you know what? I think my best route right now, my best, you know, action is to just rent. So I rented. So I'm renting for a year. And I'll see how next year goes. And when I run the numbers, it was actually a little cheaper for me to rent
Than to
buy. You know, it also depends. For example, if you have some debt to pay down, I would work on paying off that debt, continue renting, pay off that debt, you know, and maybe fix your credit. Do all these things to get you prepared for to be in a great financial position where you can qualify for a mortgage. You know, especially right now, lending is getting a little stricter. So it's better to have that 800 credit score, the low debt to income ratio, so get your things in order and then buy.
So it's all about, like, number one, it depends on the person.
Yeah.
And number two, you want to set your house in order first.
Yes.
Like, get your finances in order so you can look more attractive to a lender.
Yeah, maybe if you didn't have all your things in a row, you can only qualify for 600,000. But if you took the time and invested and maybe cut back on going out in Miami, cut back on the Ubers and save, maybe you'll be able to, you can afford 850, and then you go back to the lender and you can actually afford more, So I think it really depends on seeing where you stand financially.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
I think, Miami personally, I've been a big advocate for people to move down to Miami. And to comment on the on the renting or buying side, if you're an entrepreneur, you have a business, you need the cash. And sometimes it doesn't make sense to go put a huge amount of money up front. If you can just pay $4,000 or $5,000 a month on a continual basis, you can leverage your cash, because the more time goes by, the more your cash depreciates. So if you can hold it and pretty much leverage the money to do something that can give you 10 times the return pretty much.
I also think it's important to see where you're going to be in 3, 5, 7, 9 years.
100%. That's a good one.
If you're looking to maybe move soon, maybe it's not the best option to buy. If you have a partner and you guys are expecting a baby, maybe those are things to think about
100%.
To kind of start. So that's why it depends. That's why some people rent and they buy properties just to invest, and they keep that rented while they continue renting. So it depends on where you stand and what your goals are.
Right. You mentioned investing. Like, if somebody have the money to invest, where would you say is the best place to invest in Miami right now?
I really like North Miami.
North Miami and
Alapata and the Magic City area, Little Haiti.
Little Haiti.
I like it a lot.
I think there's like a few new constructions.
There's a lot. So that school, there's a school there. It was bought recently, and it's a huge amount of land. They're going to be doing some big developments there.
Oh, wow.
The Magic City district's on fire. You have some really nice companies and businesses entering the space. North Miami, in terms of waterfront, you can still buy a nice waterfront property, $3.5 million. Anywhere else in Miami, Venetian Islands, you're looking at really nice home and like decent 15 plus. So the fact that you're still able to buy waterfront, decent home, not needing a complete renovation for $3.5 million in North Miami is a really good buy still. A lot of value there. So Alapata's on fire too. I just went to an event recently where Lisette Calderon, she is considered the queen of Miami River, and she's doing a lot in Alapata. And Tropical Distillery just opened up. They manufacture J.F. Hayden's liquor and a couple other brands. They just opened up shop in Alapata. The Target and all of that's happening in Overtown, not too far away. So that part of town is really booming. And hearing Lisette's plan for the future is really inspiring and hopeful. So I think Alapata and North Miami.
Amazing. There you have it. If you're thinking about investing.
Call me.
Yeah, and then call her. Definitely. And next thing, now let's talk about the fun part of Miami. You have like two different businesses. One is like hardcore work, and the other one can be seen as fun, pretty much.
It's work too.
I know it's work too, but like from somebody from the outside like me, I think it's always fun. Last night you was at this RV, what's the name of it?
Where was I? I can't remember sometimes.
There's a new opening.
Oh, Avra. Yes, very exciting.
Avra opening is a restaurant.
Avra is a huge Mediterranean, really high-end luxury,
really,
I would say, restaurant. It's different. It's maybe like Milo's on steroids. No, I shouldn't say that, but it's like a similar. It's on that same wavelength. So they have one in Beverly Hills, I believe, and they have two now in New York. And they opened in Aquilina in Sunny Isles. So it's very sexy, very classy, and I just love having that addition to South Florida and to Sunny Isles. And I think that all kind of helps property values. 100%. So now you have Il Molino out there, now you have Avra, so it's exciting. Sunny Isles is on fire. Yeah,
I love Sunny Isles. I was thinking, like when they raised the rent here, I was like thinking, I'm not gonna renew my lease. I'm gonna go to Sunny Isles or Key Biscayne, and I look at the movie.
Look at you, two sides.
Yeah, two sides. Yeah. I'm like, no, none of it was a good option.
Yeah.
It's like
to drive.
So much inconvenience.
Yeah.
Just having to move alone is a big headache. So I'm like, let's do another year.
Let me work harder and just.
Let me work harder.
Let me just make more money. Yeah.
Another thing with the Miami guy, I want to hear the story about how that came together, because looking at you being a real estate agent, this is like the last thing you'd expect a real estate agent to do.
You think so?
Yeah, somehow like this is like
It relates though, like
it relates.
it kind of all relates.
Luxury. It's luxury.
Yeah.
It relates as far as the luxury part, but it's like partying, fun. I think this is like people in hospitality that would be more driven towards this type of thing, and it's just incredible to see how you're able to merge the two together and feel like it's the same thing.
I love it because it's like both passions of mine, real estate and marketing, 3 passions, and Miami. So to be able to kind of intertwine them all it's a real blessing. It makes me happy in the mornings, yeah. But I do have a partner in the Miami Guide. His name is Mike.
Okay.
So Mike and I met like 4 years ago now.
Oh, wow.
And at the time, so the marketing company was born in the middle of the pandemic.
Oh, in the middle of the
So we
pandemic.
really saw opportunity. We really knew it was time to adapt. So I met him a couple years ago, and I was doing these. I was teaching a class.
A class?
Yeah.
Like workshops?
I was teaching a class in person called Not Your Average Lead Generation class.
Oh, not your
It was
average
cool.
lead
Yeah, it was
generation
cool.
class.
I was
That
like
sounds
charging an
super
hourly
cool.
rate, and they had me in there speaking to their agents. So that was really nice.
Nice.
And then pandemic hits, and we're like, okay, it's time to adapt. So I was like, let's go online. And Mike was into it, and then one thing led to another, and the course became an online course. Him and I created the marketing agency, and he moved here as well because he's from Amsterdam.
Oh, cool.
So he had built the Miami Guide for the last like 10 years.
Wow.
Yes, and then I joined in about 3 years ago, and then we really kind of took it to the sky, to the moon, I should say.
That's epic. You know, like pretty much if you're coming to Miami, literally this page only is enough to.
It's the best, and
help
I'm not just
you get an
saying that. I
itinerary.
think it's the best. It is. Like we cover hotel, entertainment, food, like fun things. We do so much for the community and and charity work, which I am like really
So
an
you guys
advocate
just
for.
gave out a $10,000 check last week also.
Well, we're part of it. Like I also am part of 100 Women Who Care Miami Beach. They are an amazing organization where they basically raise funds once a quarter. We pay $100, so $400 a year. They round it all up, and then we choose a charity out of 3 every quarter to hand off this $10,000 check to. Yeah, so
epic.
there's like 60, 70 charities in this hat, and you pick, and then then these 3 charities present at the meeting. They give a pitch, and then we all vote on who we want to give this check for. $10,000. I mean, that's like a decent.
decent
I
amount,
think it's a decent amount. So we
100%.
work with them. We work with Miami-Dade Sea Turtles, Miami Book Fair, Miami Parks and Recreations. We do beach cleanups. I'm going to next week to the Tyler Hero Foundation. Like we try to do a lot with marketing and the community.
Oh, that's epic.
Yeah, it's exciting.
You know, I believe that I always thought that I was more in love with Miami than anybody else until I met you.
I know. But I'm from Miami. I was raised here, So elementary, middle school, high school. Now, like it's everything. So I really watched the city grow, and I've been talking about this happening to the city for so many years. So to finally see it happen, it's nice. It's a lot. But I always say, like, don't get lost in the Miami sauce.
Oh, 100%.
Because it's very easy to get, oh my God, like the partying, the food, the women, like, it's a lot. It's very expensive. It's a very expensive city now. I mean, a nice
Very
lunch
expensive.
is like $60 on your own these days, really. If you appetizer, meal,
Literally,
dessert, and a
60
drink
minimum.
plus tip is like $60.
Minimum. And it depends on the place.
Depends on where you go. So I always say, don't get lost in the Miami sauce, and do have like a tight circle. Be cool with everyone, friendly with everyone, but do have your go-to people that is your little tribe, 3 to 5 people. I think that's important.
Another, like you mentioned something really interesting here when you say don't get lost in the Miami sauce. There's people, when I moved to Miami, I made the decision to move to Miami in less than a week. I came to Miami and I was like, wow, this is epic. I went back to New York and I didn't feel it.
I know.
I didn't feel it, and I just moved literally the next month. I had two leases at one point. I had the apartment fully furnished in New York, and I came here and sleep in a mattress, like air mattress for like 2 weeks.
Okay, making it happen and sacrifices that it takes. I think it's great. It's a great story.
So there's a lot of people that believe that, oh, why did you move to Miami? You've been here for 10 years, blah, blah, blah. Miami is just for fun. Miami is just for fun. It's like, no, what do you mean?
That's the old mentality.
Yeah, people think that Miami is for fun. There's no opportunities, this. I'm like, Miami have a lot of opportunities.
A lot
of opportunities. Everybody, like just thinking of the concept of fun. Who has fun? Somebody that can afford to have fun is the only person that would have fun. wouldn't you want to be around people that can afford to have fun?
Yeah.
That's where the opportunities are. Even
Yeah.
if you want to use the argument you provided, it really does not make sense when it comes to finding opportunities. So
Yeah.
what would you say to somebody that believes Miami is just a place of fun?
It's not for you. You don't get it. You don't get it. Like,
You don't
don't
get
worry
it.
about it. Everything's not for everyone. No, I mean, really, that is the answer. But besides that, I think you need to be a little open-minded. You know, Miami's still very much a new city. New York has been around for hundreds of years. Miami, I think we just made 137 years, 138 years.
138 years?
Yeah,
the
it's so
city of
young.
Miami?
It's
Wow.
so young, really. And honestly, the last couple years is really where we've seen the boom and the fruition come to life and really making moves now. We see it all. So, and if you don't feel inspired by the city, maybe you're doing the wrong things.
Oh,
and
yeah.
maybe you're around the wrong people, because I am so inspired. Everyone in my life is making moves in the city. And there's so many different industries here. It's not just finance. Like we have
Yep.
the tourism, the hospitality, we have the finance. You can be in
100%.
charity work, you can be in real estate, you can be, there's like different,
lot
18
of
different ways to
things.
make money in the city.
100%. And
Yeah.
most important thing that I really enjoy about it is the networking aspect of it. Literally every big event that is going to happen in the world now want to be in Miami.
Yeah, they are.
They literally all want to
Yeah.
be in Miami, and it's when there is an event, traffic sucks.
Oh
but
my God, that's so bad. That's the
Traffic
biggest
sucks,
like thing
but
these days, yeah.
it's worth it. It's worth it because you get to be around people. I like to go to Makoto. You know my favorite restaurant.
Chicken wings.
Yeah, chicken wings. You have never tried it, right?
No, I need to go.
Oh, you have to. You have to. I walked in there last time and I saw Drake chilling in the corner just
Yeah.
eating. I was like, this is the type of, wouldn't you, like, how do you feel when you walk into a restaurant and you see people, like celebrities, just hanging out? And it's not like intense pressure,
Chill.
anything, they're just chilling, and it just makes you feel inspired by that. When you wake up in the morning and you walk outside and you see people at 6 in the morning running, you get inspired by that.
It's a very healthy city, I agree.
This is literally what really connected me to Miami. I'm like, wow. In New Jersey, I lived in, very rich town in what do you call it, Fort Lee. There is luxury cars in the house, but when you leave the vicinities, you're not going to see a luxury car driving just randomly. But I walk down to my lobby, I see in the front of the building, I see 5, 6 luxury cars. So there's inspiration 24/7. You see it. I believe that for us to be something, you cannot be something that you haven't seen.
Yeah.
But seeing it just kind of, give you that inspiration. So when you say if you're not inspired by what you see, you're around the wrong people.
Yeah, but that's why I also disagree with what you said earlier, that Miami people are not that welcoming. I think we are.
I think it
depends.
I didn't say not welcoming.
Oh.
I said that you're one of those people.
Oh,
and
they label you.
Yeah, they
okay,
label you.
Sorry, I take it back. They label you because I do think we're welcoming. I feel like I'm part of the 100 women who care at Miami Beach, and so many women have joined, and they just moved here a week ago, 2 weeks ago, a year
Wow.
ago. So we're very welcoming there, and maybe, you know what it is? I'm very welcoming, so maybe that's what it is. Well, I hope they don't label you anymore.
No,
Start wearing Miami hats. Start wearing
I was born in Miami, here is in Africa.
Whatever, just go along with it.
That's funny. So you have we kind of talk about the marketing agency for a little bit, but I'm going to extend, maybe talk about the services that you provide and see how people can benefit from that.
Yes.
But before we go there, let's say somebody that have had an incredible quarter. They're an entrepreneur, they worked hard, and they're like, you know what? I'm going to kick my legs up for a minute. I'm going to go to Miami for a weekend. And they just want to act like brand new. They're like, Banna, what do you think I should do? Where do you think I should go? I'm going to be here Friday night and I'm going to leave Monday morning.
Okay, so funny. Those little 3-day weekends, I tell everyone to do. And I like that you said you had a successful quarter, because if you say, Banna, I'm trying to save money, then I'll give you a different option, different tiers.
Yeah, different tiers, yeah.
So let's say you had a great quarter and you're in high season, which is now,
Yeah.
I really recommend Faina.
Faina is epic. The living room, they have...
Best.
When I walked in there, I was like, oh, you go to the living room. I was like, living room? Where's the living room?
It's the sexiest thing in the city. It's like, what?
It's epic. The steak.
Yeah, the steak, los fuegos.
Definitely, yeah.
So I always recommend, if you have a weekend in Miami, I think Friday night, have dinner in Los, like go, yeah. So Friday night, do, let's say you got in like in the evening. Then you go to have a dinner in Los Fuegos in Faina.
Nice.
Then you would go to the living room, have a little cocktail or something. Maybe go to Saxony Lounge right downstairs. I think that's a nice little vibe. Saturday, I think you should do some boat. I think
A boat day? Nice.
yacht day, boat day. Do some of that, some jet skiing, you know. Maybe catch the sunset.
Sunset,
You know,
epic.
maybe pull up the boat somewhere, Standard, Shuckers, or maybe Beach Marina if you're docked there. Go get some stone crabs at Joe's, do something like that. Take it easy, maybe. Or if you're in the mood to go out, sometimes it's hard to do a boat date and go out. But let's say you're in the mood, maybe take a little nap, wake up, go have dinner, maybe a little Carbone. Maybe there's so many new restaurants.
So many new restaurants
that you don't even need to keep going to the same places.
Literally.
Yeah, I've been looking into that, and then. I definitely always recommend, like if you're in the party mood, check out 11. I'm very close with them. I love that family. Maybe go to 11, maybe do some kind of clubs, some kind of lounges, you know, and that's it. Try to be home by like 2, 3 a.m. Maybe before that, yeah.
2, 3 a.m. on Saturday.
Sunday, I recommend a beach spa day.
A beach spa day.
Yes, my favorite's Faina again. Just because I'm a member there, but besides
nice.
that, I just think it has one of the best spas in Miami.
Yeah, and one hotel is also good.
One hotel's nice. You know, maybe you want to do a beach day at the one hotel because they have the rooftop.
Yeah.
So before the Faina, I used to go to the one hotel, go to the beach, and then around sunset time, I'll go to the rooftop pool because it's so nice. And you relax, and it's like warm in the sunset, drink a coconut. It's like, and they play great house music, yeah. So do something like that, and then if you want to keep going out, you can always go to Sea Spice Kiki's on the river, or you can just have like a nice Italian dinner and go to Il Gabbiano right here in downtown, overlooking the water.
Il Gabbiano, it's epic, Italian food.
Yeah,
delicious.
Yeah. So I think you cover each restaurant, like going out, food.
Different type of food.
Yeah.
Is it strategically done, or?
Yeah, come on.
Wow,
yeah,
look
totally.
at that. After 10 years of experience. There you have it.
Let me know. I have way more options. Yeah.
There you have it. So if you're coming to Miami to enjoy yourself, you can literally pull up your notebook and watch the video over and over again and have everything down and come and enjoy yourself.
Or go to the MiamiGuide.com. You can always do that too.
MiamiGuide.com.
Yeah,
I'm sure they can find some stuff there. I'm gonna link Miami Guide, Banna's Instagram, and everything below, so you can. If you're buying something or renting, you definitely want to contact her and she would help you out.
Thank you. Absolutely. Here to help.
Another thing, you know, the channel is for entrepreneurs, people that are aspiring entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs that are just trying to learn more about other entrepreneurs and explore different industries. And mostly, I believe that most of the people that are watching consistently just see the lifestyle and they want to live that lifestyle. So what would you suggest to somebody? Where should somebody start when they feel like, okay, what I'm doing right now is not giving me like what I want out of life. I deserve better. What would you suggest them to? Where should you suggest them to start?
Excellent question. I would, number one, put together a list of who you want to be in the future. What do you expect of yourself? I want to be CEO. I want to be super fit. I want to be, married. I want to own. What do you want to do? And I think start thinking of the qualities that person would entail. And I learned this a little bit from Jordan Peterson.
Ooh.
He's my client.
Is your client?
Yeah, I love the family.
That's epic.
Michaela's husband, Jordan Fuller. Like I've sold them properties. We work together closely. Yeah,
that's really epic.
And
He's
they are
one of my
so
favorite guy to listen to.
Jordan Peterson is amazing. Like he really is.
Epic.
So I really think listening and starting a whole new, because it's a new life, really.
Yes,
it's an end of an old one, beginning of a new one. So now start listening to Jordan Peterson, start listening to who else? Jay Shetty, start listening to all these top people in your life. You know, I think that would kind of help. I think it's important to know who you are.
100%.
You know,
awareness, self-awareness.
When you don't know who you are, you start becoming everything else, you know, and I think it's important too to not compare, because Instagram and social media, as much as I use it and love it, it's not great. You know, it has people living these fake lives, trying to keep up with the Joneses. They can't afford it, you know. So I think keep it real with yourself. Stay authentic and see who you want to be in the future, and then work backwards. You know what I think? Think about your passions. Think about how you can maybe leverage those passions If you want to go boating all the time, then you can't be 9 to 5, right? Like
100%.
to maybe go be a captain for the boat, maybe open up a boat detail business, maybe open up, and I think maybe work backwards
Creativity.
like that.
So the idea is start with the end in mind.
Yes.
Picture yourself if everything was to be as successful as you can imagine, what would it look like?
Yeah.
And you create that picture and start finding things to fill that picture.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I like the fact you mentioned about one of the first things you mentioned is like feeding your mind, listening to the right people. Because the way we think is being, like given to us by our environment. We're born clean without any thoughts, and pretty much we pick up all these limiting beliefs because of the environment and the beliefs that the people around us have.
Oh, totally agree with that.
If you want to change, you need to pretty much start listening to other people and
you also need to unlearn
a lot of stuff that you have learned. I like that word.
Unlearn and then relearn. There's a lot. Like I've had to unlearn a lot of things in my life.
Wow.
Like city of Miami, it's beautiful and all, but there's a bit of like it can be superficial sometimes. It could be so. I reset myself and I thought, like, what are my values? What are my true values? What do I really desire? What do I really want? Who am I?
That's a person.
And I think it's important to unlearn and then relearn, reprogram your mind a little bit, especially if you grew up like survival mode for so many years. For the first time in my life, I'm out of survival mode. So now I'm like, what's next? Like,
what's next? Yeah.
Why? I don't have to work 15-hour work days. I can relax on a Thursday. Like, oh my God. So now it's like a mentality shift from survival mode to thriving mode. And that's something to think about too. So if imagine spending 30 years of survival mode, now it's like, okay, what's next? So I think it's important that to see where you are in life,
100%. That's interesting. Like when you mentioned what's next, it's a good question as well. What's next for Banna?
What's next for Banna? I want to grow the real estate business,
okay.
Like ultra luxury, tap into the 15, 20, 25 million mark. The Miami Guide is on fire. We are on fire. It's very, very exciting. I think we positioned ourselves in such a way that we are becoming a necessity. Like if you're not on the Miami Guide, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing? So
100%.
now we work with big brands. We have Live Nation.
Wow.
We have Live Nation. Because we're not just an Instagram page. We're a media platform.
Oh, media platform.
And we're a
100%.
marketing partner. That's what we do. So we have 260,000 followers on Instagram, and we have so many impressions a month. We are on our website.
On the website.
Our database is incredible.
Wow.
And this is a database of business owners, entrepreneurs, locals, or if they're not locals, people that want to be local. So it's such a valuable database there too.
Anybody can leverage.
Yeah. Perrier is a
the
client.
brand.
Mionetto Prosecco. Big client.
Wow.
Who else? Kopu Waters, Lucid Motors. I mean, we're killing it right now. And 2023, we started working on it in September.
Oh, wow.
So now we're setting up more brand partnerships, more growth. Formula One is a partner. We work with Formula One now. Emerge Americas, Ultra.
Wow.
So it's super, super exciting. So now I'm working on let's go. So that's what's next for Banna. And I mean, I'm interested in settling down. Like I'm interested in growing, becoming motherhood and becoming a wife, and I've been thinking more about that part of life because I think it's important. At least 100%. It's important to me. Not everyone's like, I don't need it, but for me it's important. And so if I can just build the businesses to kind of run on their own while I do this over here, I think it's like
much
harmony.
Better. Yeah, and that also brings me to another question, right? A lot of time we're having, like, if you're driven, very passionate about, achievement, we fail to pretty much take some time for ourselves. How do you manage with everything that you have to do? I know it's like running these two companies alone is not an easy job because you have a lot of people that you have to talk to on a daily basis and stuff. So how do you manage your time to make sure that you have some time for yourself where you can kick your legs up and just enjoying the sunset?
I do really well at this.
You do really well at it?
Yeah,
Wow.
It's a necessity. I need it. I need it. Plus, I've set up the businesses where there's some delegation.
Delegation.
You know, the real
Amazing.
estate, I have like a team, I have an agent, I have an assistant, I have an employee
Oh,
that
nice.
helps me out because we also do property management, full service. And then the marketing, I have my partner. We have a nice little team behind us too, so it's nice. And yeah, so I think it's important to have teams. Otherwise,
That's
you're gonna
epic.
like experience burnout.
Wow.
And also, since we work, I'm my own boss, so I'm
Yeah.
able to kind of move things around. You know, like I'll go do my nails, I'll go to some work appointments, and then maybe I'll go get my hair done, and then I'll call it a day. And then other days I have 16 events in one day, and so I can't relax that day. It is what it is, you know. And then I've learned also that November to May is high season.
High season. Right.
So those months are going to be busier, and I
100%.
understand that. And not that I push myself to burnout, but I kind of understand it's going to require more of me.
A lot of work,
you know.
yeah.
So it's the real estate, and then it's the work events, then it's the follow up, then it's the, you know. So I understand. I try to take off every single Sunday.
Every single Sunday.
Every single Sunday.
Non-negotiable.
I mean, you know, if I have to work, it's like, okay. But if I can do it on a Saturday, I'll do it on a Saturday.
Okay.
But if I can keep Sundays off, I go to the beach and I go to the spa like once a week. And I go alone.
That's the best thing
People are like,
ever.
why don't you invite me? I'm like, you know what, because I invite you to everything else. So
Exactly.
Why
This
can't
is
we
my
just,
me time.
This is my time.
Everybody need a
Just
me time. My me time is Saturdays.
Oh, Saturdays.
At Komodo, Mokoto.
Mokoto. You go alone there?
Alone. Like nobody. Just drive 45 minutes. Just take it in and just think about the week. And,
Yeah. You don't get temptation to shop?
Yeah, like a little. It's funny if I go and they tell me, "Oh, the table is ready." I'm like, can I just walk around and come
I'll
back?
be back, I'll be back.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting.
It can get expensive.
I love the mall. I love the mall. It's like one of my favorite places in Miami.
A lot of inspiration there.
Very inspirational. Just sitting and just watching the water run and the trees move in Ball Harbor. It's just like a whole different world.
It's a vibe.
Yeah, it's a vibe.
Maybe you should go move there.
Like
soon.
Sunny Isle.
That's not
Sunny
too
Isle
far.
is next to it, like
Yeah.
10 minutes.
At the
So
beach.
I was thinking about
Love Sunny Isles Beach.
epic, clean.
Clean, and from like from the shoreline to where your building is, so much space.
So beautiful.
So like huge amount. I like it. I like it too.
And also they have like the nice dock. Like the thing, it's like a high thing that you just watch. It's like you can stand by.
Oh, yes.
And you know what I'm
Yes.
talking about, right? So beautiful.
Yeah.
Sit there and you just watch the boats come by.
Yeah,
It's
and
really
it's
interesting.
also very close to Fort Lauderdale Airport, which I love Fort
Wow.
Lauderdale Airport. It's like so easy to get to.
Yeah, I think if I'm gonna move, I love Miami. I'm not thinking about leaving Miami anytime soon. I moved from New York 2 years now, and I have not stepped foot back in New York.
Oh, not even to visit?
No,
No,
not
I think we'll
even.
visit a little.
I got like 3 tickets and they all canceled. I was like,
I don't need to go.
I don't need to go.
I hear that a lot from New
Yeah.
Yorkers. They're like, I don't need to go back.
Yes, like I've been there. I lived in New York for 7 years and moved across the street on the Hudson for like in New Jersey for 2 years. So I believe that I spent a lot of time there. It's time to enjoy Miami.
That's what I tell people too. That you did that chapter. Now this is the South Florida chapter, and you did
Yeah.
the Brickell life, and now you go do the beach life.
Beach life
and
in
then
Sunny
Sunny Isles. Like I've lived all over Miami, every single neighborhood you name it, every
Wow.
single one. Yeah, and I think it's why not jump around a little bit. Plus, I get kind of
100%.
bored. Like
Explore.
after 2 years, I'm like,
You
okay,
just-
what's next? What's next?
Gotta keep on moving.
I think you'll like Sunny Isles. Check it out.
Yeah, I love it.
You work from home.
I go there. I drive there in Golden Beach at night. It's just a beautiful
So
drive.
nice. Yeah, it's nice.
You know, just drive by a nice book. It's just like life is good. I mean, why do you want to go
Honestly,
go somewhere else?
I know.
You know?
It's nice.
So let's wrap this up with books. Are you a reader?
Yes. I wish I was more of a reader.
Okay.
I wish I was more of a reader. Sometimes I get busy and maybe I should take a book to the beach. I just like
Yeah.
do nothing on the beach, but I should like take a
Take
book.
a book to the beach.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Do audios.
Yes, I know. I do
Audios.
listen to some.
I do like on a weekly basis. I would say I finish a book a week.
No.
Yeah,
So
book
you
a
listen
week.
when you're getting ready, or how does it
Literally
work?
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything that I'm doing. If I jump in my car and plug my phone, it's a book that I'm reading. It's going. If I open my phone now, look.
I love Bob Proctor.
Bob Proctor.
Oh, I love
my
him.
God. He promoted one of our courses.
Oh my God.
Like literally in when he passed away, we had a huge memorial.
I
for
was
him.
sad.
We wrote a magazine for him and stuff. This is the book that I'm reading.
Okay, send me some.
Trading. I'm gonna send you some
Yeah,
books.
send me
I'm
some.
gonna send you some books.
We should do like a book review later. Like, what did you think?
Yeah, good idea. I love it. I have one thing. Have you read a book in the past that you think that anybody starting up should read?
Yes, I mean, I have a very big spiritual side to me,
Okay.
and I really loved Marianne Williamson, A Return to Love.
Return to Love.
And it's
wow.
not love focused, it's a mentality. You know, it really helped me shift from the money mentality to the service mentality. And how can I do to serve and help my clients? And when I became a problem solver, and when I became of service, and when I became, it's our civic duty to help others, like in my opinion.
100%.
You know? So once I started putting that mentality, the money started flowing. You know, and so I think that was a really nice book to start off.
Wow.
And then Bob Proctor, I think it's like You Deserve to Be Rich or something like that. So good. Little nuggets here and there. That's a really good one.
Amazing.
Who else?
What gave you the idea of Bob Proctor?
I don't know.
He just felt the
On
energy.
Instagram. I started following him on Instagram, and I really resonated with some of the things he said. Like he said, you're only one decision away from an entirely new life.
Whew, powerful.
Ugh, goosebumps. And so last year, it's so crazy. So last year in May, I was like I needed a change. I like broke up with some guy that I was dating. Like I changed my car. I changed where I was living. I sold the house. I changed to Sotheby's. There was just so many changes in like 1 month, and I'm like that. I'm like, when it's time, I'll make moves on it. So in this 1 month, I did all these changes, and Bob Proctor like really put that in me, and I'm like, let's go. That's it.
One change.
Sotheby's did boom, 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 boom.
Wow.
Yes, and look, it led me to where I am now. Bought the house in October, sold it in May, had some mega deals. It helped me get my finances in order.
Wow.
Yeah, because how can you close big deals and get these big commission checks to go where when your finances in order, right? So it made me get the foundation perfect,
solidified,
and then the
solid base.
Yeah, and then everything started going in. So
powerful.
Bob Proctor.
There is this thing about when you mention be of service and not go for money. There's this thing about life that I believe very firmly. Like in life, you don't get what you want, you get what you deserve.
Very good.
And don't chase, attract. Because whatever you chase will run away from you.
Agreed.
It doesn't matter what it is.
Like a woman too?
A woman, money, whatever.
Yeah.
Even if you're chasing peace of mind, your mind is going to be busy chasing peace of mind. So therefore, you're not going to have peace of mind.
But that goes like, you didn't grow up thinking that. You learned that.
Yeah.
Oh,
you learned that.
I learned that recently too, because we think we have to chase it all, but it causes resistance.
It causes resistance. When you deserve it, you're attracted. I believe that a lot of people rank themselves out of the dating charts. Imagine you are a 5 and you're like, oh, I want a 10. It's like, sorry, there's no way it's gonna happen.
No.
Because you are in lane 5 and you want somebody in lane 10, it's not possible.
No.
You might come across a 10 that is confused, and on a lane 5 and you're like, oh, God, if 10, but quickly enough they would realize that this is not for them and they would move to their lane.
Yes,
you know?
And like stay in your lane, because don't go after the 10 and try to make her go down to lane 5. Now you're wasting everyone's time. So just
100%.
Stick to what you know good at.
100%. And what I say is like when you deserve it. When you deserve, you get what you deserve. So if you know you want a 10, it's good that you want a 10, but make sure you deserve a 10.
I like that.
If you don't deserve a 10, go to work.
This is good.
Go to work.
Very good.
I literally one of my first event that I ever went to, I saw this girl. I walked in and I saw her. I was like, wow. I was like, this girl is literally, I would marry her today if I have the option. And I don't know, like 2016, I had a negative bank account. I was living in the Bronx in a $300 shared bedroom with like somebody in the room.
You weren't ready.
Right? And I saw her, I was like, wow, this is, and until today, she has been a big driver into everything that I have.
I love that. Where is she now?
She's in New York. She was married, by the way. Oh. Like, I saw her, it's like, wow, this is epic. And for some reason, we spoke and we went to get something to eat with other people. And she was driving a Mercedes AMG back in 2016.
That's a big deal back in those days.
I literally I didn't see her car. I saw her in the conference. I was like, wow, interesting. And then we went to get food. When we was on the food, she was on the phone booking a flight for her husband to go somewhere. I was like, my heart just broke.
Is she still married?
Yes, she's still married.
Yeah.
And what happened, I wrote a letter and I gave her the letter before I realized that she had a husband. So my head is like this big. And it's funny. I was talking to her a couple of days ago. She's like, she still have the letter. I'm gonna send you a picture of it. I was like, I didn't even speak English back then. What did I wrote? You know, so I was like, don't send it, please, don't send it.
You know what? But I think that's God and the universe, whatever we believe in. It gives you signs and triggers. And if you awake enough and you listen to the sign, maybe that was a sign that. I bet you after that, you really got yourself together.
100%.
You know?
Literally, this woman, she was married. I'm not mentioning name, thank God.
No,
and I had her picture on my phone. Literally, for like maybe more than 6 months.
Look at that.
Yeah, like it was a big source of motivation. And I told her, I'm honest, I was like, I owe a lot of my success to you.
Look at that. That's beautiful. And it's so nice that you're so like open to say that. Because God forbid you show love to people, you know? God forbid. So it's really nice that you did that.
I told her I owe a lot of my success to you. She had a house in the Hudson River, on the Hudson River, and I got a penthouse in the Hudson River. You know, like a lot of these things just like you get inspired by it and you work towards it. So it's like
maybe in the future, like maybe perhaps cross or something.
No,
you never know. Life is funny.
Life is funny, but I think you know. Now I would say back then, if I didn't deserve her back then, right? Like, oh, what are you gonna do? You have a $300 shared bedroom. There's somebody sleeping on the bed with you.
No.
How you like? It's impossible, right? So I was on the lane 1 or maybe lane 2, wanting somebody on lane 10. It's like not possible, and I acknowledge that. And that awakening is like, okay, if I know this is the type of woman that I want in my life, I have to make sure that I deserve that type of woman. Because right now I don't.
I love that. That's like the realest thing you've said. Very good.
I went to work. I went to work, and that's it.
Yeah. And now you know that kind of woman exists.
Exactly.
So high standards. Now you know. I think it's a nice
100%
pedestal to like look up to.
I have a coach that, like, you know, sometimes I spoke to him a lot of time, and he mentioned that everything's about clarity, and for anything to, like, if you want anything to happen, you just have to have clarity. I was like, okay, it sounds really deep, but how do you get clarity? He's like, you get clarity by standing at the right place. I was like, that's even deeper. Where's the right place? And he's like, if your goal is to see this light, you have to stand at the place where you can see the light. And if somebody else's goal is to see the light, where do you think they'll be standing?
Right next to you.
Right next to you.
That's very good.
Whew.
That's very good.
Right, I was like, wow.
Clarity.
And literally, that's the same analogy that I always try to apply in anything. Business, you need the right business partner. You have to make sure you have the goal and your eye is on the goal. And guess what? Anybody that have that goal also would be standing right next to you. So, yeah, this was powerful. Wow. Banna, thank you for coming. I have something, you know, special that I'm doing. For a really long period of time, I've been a big reader. And my books, nobody could have ever gotten access to my book. You say, oh, can I read your book? I was like, no. If you want it, I'll buy it. I'll send it to your house. Nobody touched my books.
Look at
For
you.
a really long period of time. I would give books, but these are like mine.
Yeah.
So since I started the podcast, I decided, you know, let me do something special for my guests.
God.
Anybody that comes to the podcast, I give them access to my library. So they can,
it's a very great library.
They pick a book of their choice. I have some here, I have more on this side, and I have few here as well.
I think you should pick. You think that I would benefit me.
Pick one for you. Let me see.
Okay, let's see. I read a couple.
You read a couple of those, right? It always makes me happy when somebody have read
This is so good.
some stuff. Boom. I think I would give you Single on Purpose. Single on Purpose by John Kim. It's an incredible book. I know you mentioned that. You mentioned about, you know, you eventually want to settle down, start a new life. And a lot of people feel that pressure from society. It doesn't matter how successful you are. My mom calls me, it's like, you got to think, you know, how's food with you? How do you get food? It's like, I eat out all the time. It's like, you know, it's time to get somebody to help you with food. I was like, oh, she's just trying to tell me to get married. You know, slide it in, like put it on the food. And there's a lot of pressure in society. And, you know, for a woman, it's a lot harder, like a lot heavier. So with those type of pressure, I see a lot of people throwing themselves into situations where they quickly get out of with a lot of liabilities. You're in a situation now, you have a kid, you spend 5 years or 10 years in a relationship, you go out in the marketplace where you have to compete with fresh 18 years old that just came out into the market, and life become hard. But because you went through something, you wasted a lot of time because you felt like you had to hold something. You had to be in something because society tells you to do so.
Yeah, but that's why I was like, let me set up my businesses, let me get my life together, because so if anything, I got me and I'm good, you know.
100%.
So I think that's important.
Another aspect, right? It's like what we said, right? You don't chase, you just attract.
Yeah.
It's not things that like, okay, day one on my search for this. No, right? It's like when it happens, it happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that this book really, it's a great book. You want to grab it?
Single on purpose. All right, let's see. I will read it and get back to you, and we'll do like a part 2.
Part 2 with the book review.
Find yourself first, discover the new you, then go have healthy, honest sex.
Yeah.
We'll
Literally. Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
This was
Thank
incredible. I'm glad we got to really cover a lot of stuff in just a short period of time. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, we have a podcast version of it as well, so you can, get it on. You can listen to it on the road. If you're listening to this on the podcast, note that we have a video format. You get to see me and Banna sitting in the studio, just enjoying ourselves and giving some valuable insight to you guys. So thank you for watching. If you have a comment, leave it below. Banna would be there to reply to your questions if you have any on the YouTube channel. And subscribe, share the video with anybody you think can benefit from this as well, so we can spread the love and spread the motivation and inspiration that we are committed to deliver to you guys. So thank you for watching, and I see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Thank you.